Man, Sonu, can you believe the government shut down?
I do believe it because I feel like it's happened so many times over the last, 12 years, ever since 2013.
Hold on a second. Maybe we should talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, look, we're not alone. So, hey, everybody, we're in Nellie's. We're going to stand, or what do we say we're going to do?
I'll sit.
Yeah, there we go. We'll do
that way I don't look very short.
We're coming to you from Nellie's on top of Carson's beautiful building out here in Omaha. We're on the 6th floor, I guess, right?
6th floor, as high as buildings get in Omaha.
Yeah, if only you can see. I don't know if we can turn it around. Beautiful view of, there we go. We'll turn it around for everybody. Why not? Show everybody. Look at that view.
Right.
We thought about doing
That's
it
what
outside.
we're looking at.
Yeah, if we'd done this at 11 o'clock, an hour and a half ago, there was the monthly sirens that went off at 11, so I had no idea. So interesting. But let's get to it. This is, again, this week's latest Carson's Take 5. Ryan and Sonu, again, live from Nellie's in Omaha. The government, as the time we're doing the shutdown, now we'll see by the time people listen to it if it's still shut down, but we're aware this is the first shutdown since a 34-day shutdown at the end of 2019, early 2020, I believe.
At the end of 2018 to 2019.
Apologies, that's why it's a two-man show. End of 2018, early 2019. 2013, there was another, I think, 13 or 14-day shutdown. Close enough for government work. Get it? Government work. So high level.
Or government not working.
Yeah, I know. High level, how worried should we be about the stock market, the economy, the government dysfunction, Washington dysfunction with this shutdown?
I'm not too worried. Not too worried about the stock market. Not too worried about the economy. Mm-hmm. The only thing is that, as you all know, we follow government data, like whether it's inflation reports, more importantly right now are labor market reports, right? How much, where is the unemployment rate? How many jobs did the economy create in September? Well, we are not going to get that information if the government stays shut through this weekend, which it probably will. But how long the shutdown will last, I don't know. But I don't think it's going to matter a big deal because, yes, a lot of workers are going to get furloughed. But once they come back onto the jobs, they're going to get back pay, things like that. So the economy will chug along. Now, if this stays closed for 40 days, 50 days, 60 days, that starts to make an impact, right? But, right now, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, let's look at the recent one, right? Again, at the end of 2018, early 2019. It's estimated that GDP growth was down on an annualized basis about 0.6% in the first quarter because of the shutdown. But then it just as quickly came back in the second quarter, and we can go back in history. Now, a lot of these times, the government's been shut down, I believe 22 times since the late 70s. We looked at a lot of them, so they were like only a day or two, okay? Right. So we'll see. We'll see about this one. But if it's longer, yes, it can impact the economy, but it comes back. But here's what I want everyone to know. On average, during the shutdowns, the 22 shutdowns we've seen since the late 1970s, the S&P 500 is up on average during shutdowns. During that 34-day shutdown we had last time, 7 years ago, give or take, S&P gained over 10%. Now, it wasn't because of the government shutdown. There's some Fed policy stuff going on.
Yeah, the Fed pivoted, right, to interest rate cuts.
It just reminds us there are things that, it matters the government shut down, but there are things from an investments point of view and an economy point of view that matter more. We're probably getting kind of near the end. What else do we want to talk about here from this point of view?
To that point about other things mattering more, I'll bring up two things. One is the Fed has already started, let's say, a rate cutting cycle. That's a tailwind for markets, I think, going forward and going into 2026 as well. The other is, Ryan, you've done a lot of work around this. We've had some solid momentum in equity markets, to say the least. And as I like to say, momentum begets momentum. What we've had, May was positive, June is positive, July, August, and September is positive. That's 5. Yeah, 5 months. Right. That's 5. I had to actually say it.
We are sitting at a bar, okay? That's not teasing.
But 5 months, we've been positive. And this period, August, September, maybe into October, was supposed to be seasonally weak. We haven't seen weakness yet, but are you expecting any weakness next 2 weeks? And now the shutdown thing is happening.
Yeah, it makes sense to have cover. If we had a well-deserved, say 4% peak to trough correction, I think it'd be perfectly normal, right? After 5 months in a row, the truth is we can't be up every month. But Sonu, we've looked into this. When you have a 5-month win streak like we just did, the S&P 500 a year later is higher, ready for this, 29 out of 31 times. I'm not 100% sure what that percentage is. It's a high percentage. And the average return a year later is like 13 or 14%. So it's just one way to look at it, but this momentum is incredible. And it likely says going out, maybe we have a little October.
Q4 too, right?
Q4 is usually really strong too. When you have a strong September like we just did, Q4 usually does better than average as well. So there's lots of ways to slice and dice this. Maybe October is a little volatility, a little spooky, if you will, but we still expect this fourth quarter to be pretty darn solid. Any final comments on anything you want to talk about?
I think to that point about Q4 being positive, look, middle of this year, coming into this year, everyone was positive, and then almost everyone, I think except for us, became really negative after April and the tariff chaos and things like that. And now I think we see a bit of a chase into the end of the year, and I think that's positive for equities as well.
Yeah, totally agree. Listen, everyone, this again was your latest Carson's Take 5, talking about the government shutdown, live from Nellie's. We should turn around on the bar.
Right. We're going to
belly up to the bar and figure all this out. We'll see everybody next week. Take care. Thank you.